right, Garrett Johnson here with Brian Gay. And Brian, we're here on the PGA Tour Champions, and I think about this tour. You've been out here, it's your third season. What is it like out here compared to the regular tour?
It's quite a bit different, actually. It's much more relaxed. There's, smaller fields compared to normal PGA Tour events with 144, 156. Usually out here we just have 78 most weeks. So it's a smaller family, a little more relaxed, but very competitive.
What is the competitiveness like on a Sunday for you when you're near the lead, feeling the Sunday pressure? How is that like for you? How much do you relish that opportunity?
Yeah, it's always fun to get in contention, and no matter what tournament it is, it kind of feels the same. The pressure's there. You want to do well no matter where you're playing, and it's always tough to win.
When it comes to a Sunday and you're on the back nine, you have your caddy with you. As you go into a shot, important shots you guys talk through, what kinds of things are you expecting out of your caddy as you kind of strategize over important shots?
Yeah, just kind of, I do my own yardages, and we both get the yardage, and then we discuss. We try to come up with a number we think the shot's playing or where we want the ball to land on the green, and kind of go from there. It's all dependent upon conditions, but the basic. To boil it down to basics is we come down to one number where we want to land the ball to get it in the right spot, and we factor in the lie, the wind, all sort of that thing, how much release on the green and that sort of stuff.
So with a lot of variables like that, do you typically like him to pipe up a little bit more and kind of go over some of those details with you, or would you rather just kind of a less is more approach at times? Or
it varies. He certainly gives me his input. I think a lot of times he can tell if he knows I'm ready to go and realizes that I've kind of got it handled, then he'll kind of step back. If I'm kind of hee-hawing around and kind of between, then he'll step in and kind of give me his opinion.
Sitting here now, here in Richmond, Virginia, when you look back on your career so far, what are you most proud of? What couple things, or what comes to mind with what you're most proud of?
Probably longevity. I've been fortunate enough to play. I got my PGA Tour card fall of '98 and been out there ever since, and came straight out here from the tour, and was fortunate enough to still have some exemption on the regular tour after 50, and so it's kind of tough to get all the way to 50 on the regular tour, so it was nice to be able to play all the way up until the Champions Tour.
It's interesting that you say that, because I know Rocco Mediate said earlier this week that the guys that are playing in their late 40s and playing with consistency going into the 50, that they tend to play better more quickly, just because of the longevity, but just like the repetitions there, right? The muscle memories there. What do you make of that? Has that helped your transition, or?
Yeah, I think definitely guys are sharper if they've played up till 50. They don't have that kind of 3, 4, 5 year layoff and then kind of restarting it at 50. So I had that benefit of still being competitive and still playing a lot till the age of 50. So I think that's definitely an advantage over guys that maybe lost their card sooner on the regular tour and had to wait to get to 50 and then kind of a restart.
What's the camaraderie like for you out here on the PGA Tour Champions with the guys out there, and different ages? Other guys in their 60s, some in their 70s as well. But what's the camaraderie like?
It's great. All the guys are great. When I first came out, I felt like it was kind of like going back in time. It was a lot of the guys that I first played with when I first got on tour, and then I come over here, and they're still out here playing.
Which guys, for example? What were you thinking of there?
Freddie and Jay Haas and even Rocco. Guys that are 10, 15 years older than me that were well established when I first got on tour, and I looked up to them, and then I kept playing the tour, and they moved on and came out here, and then kind of reunite with them.
What is that like, just to be around some of these guys that obviously, some of them, like you mentioned Freddie, some of these superstars? How do you kind of, I guess, manage your expectations when you're going up against guys that have really stellar Hall of Fame careers, and you're grinding against them? Like, is that come into play at all when in your competitive side, or?
Yeah, for sure. It's still a little like, like I said, some of those guys when I was young, I looked up to them when I was growing up, high school, college. Especially Freddie was one of my favorites. And
just the smooth swing.
With them at first was weird, like, wow, I'm out here playing with them, and then you don't see them for a while, and then you're back out with them again. So, but even they age, they still know how to play golf. They still can get the ball in the hole. So it's very competitive.
What would you say is the biggest kind of focus of your swing right now in terms of what you're trying to get with, in terms of positioning, or what tends to be the thing you're tinkering on most at the moment?
Really not much. Unfortunately, I had a elbow injury this year, and I was home for over 3 months. I didn't play from June until 2 weeks ago at Jim Furyk's tournament. I had a tear in my tennis elbow tendon, and had to stop and shut it down.
Just from playing golf? Or?
Yeah, just overuse, chronic injury. It just kind of flared up and kept getting worse, and I finally had to stop. Had to let it rest, calm down, bunch of therapy, and I just decided it felt good enough to where I could swing. It's not healed. There was only a few tournaments left, and I'm like, I'm just going to go see if it holds up. So I'm just kind of trying to survive right now. I haven't really practiced. I warm up and play my rounds. I haven't been practicing after because I don't want to do too much with the elbow. So I figured I would just see if it holds up through the end of the year and then kind of go from there. It's kind of where I'm at.
When you said you haven't really practiced much, so what little things can you do to be ready and to simulate?
Yeah, I noticed definitely a difference between, the first week back in Jacksonville. I felt completely out of sorts because I hadn't played. That was my first round in over 3 months was the Pro-Am that week. So I didn't literally play any at home. I hit balls a few times. So that was really felt quite foreign that first week. I could tell a little bit of difference last week, just getting in the rhythm of playing again, even though I wasn't really practicing. Just the familiarity and the routine of playing tournament rounds. So it's kind of trying to get back in the flow of that more than trying to practice a bunch.
Right. When you talk about familiarity being a little bit off and trying to get that again, what parts of the swing or what parts of the game are you trying to corral back in the most, or what's most significant?
Yeah, it was mostly probably the long game. Short game's pretty solid still. And with the arm injury, the long clubs are a little tougher with stress on the elbow. So I've struggled a little bit with the longer game versus, the chipping's been good, putting's good. So I don't know if I'm favoring the other arm with the right arm being injured. So maybe a couple things going on there, but
the full extension of the longer clubs, makes it come into play more.
Yeah, just longer swing, more speed. Takes a lot more effort with the longer clubs versus the short game.
Well, Brian, Gabe, appreciate the time and good luck the rest of the way, man.
Thank you.